What's up, studs? Welcome back to another episode of
Whiteboard and Whistles with Coach Saunders. Cool with hair and just don't care. Woo!
Yes! I'm excited. Once again, always got to bring the juice. But today, we're going to get a little educational, a little more than we were last week and the previous week. So, let's get right down to it. Okay, our big ideas today. First off, we are in, this ain't week 3, we're in week like 972. That's what it feels like. So, let's just get with it and go on. Big idea number 1. We've got to get back to our basics. Why are we even learning all this stuff about nutrition and physical activity? Well, so we're going to go back to the 4 basic components of health. Big idea number 2, nutrition. Little bit of review of what a calorie is and why it's important. And then we're going to add in our macros. If you've ever heard that term, it's kind of big in the fitness industry, but it's also important and very, very educational. Number 3, we've got our daily MVP workouts, in which we're going to learn the FIT principle. I love it. And then we're also going to learn how to make it a little bit fun. Okay? So, without further ado, forward! Remember, always drink your water and stay healthy. But let's stick to the game plan. So we've got our 4 basic health components, which you've been in my class, we all know these basic components. They are in no order whatsoever, but they all have an equal part to our own lives, to our own health. So we're going to start off with the first one, mental. That is everything we think, everything we learn, all the things that are going on inside of our brain. The next one, we can have social, which, because we're stuck inside most of the time during these times, can be a little bit difficult to achieve good social health. So we might have to come up with some ways on how to fix that or to help that. Our next one, we've got physical. Next one is physical. That is all the moderate to vigorous physical activity that we get to benefit our daily lives. Okay, that's like our heart and our lungs and all that good stuff. And then so we've got that. Our next one, our feels, our emotional. Okay, so we've got mental, social, physical, emotional, and all those components make up who we are on that given day, because they all kind of fluctuate. Okay, so we need to make sure we're working on all 4 components every single day. And just so you guys know, here's another visual. If we just draw simple arrows in here, in our minds, we're looking at all these. This means every single thing is related to each other. So emotional can affect your mental affects your physical, which then can affect your social health. And we got to make sure we're doing the things we can do to make sure we have the best day possible, baby. Woo! Physical activity, fun fact of the day. Your brain has to do math as you throw a ball against the wall to catch it. Your brain is constantly doing force equals mass times acceleration, along with physics, other physics, and energy to know how hard you're throwing it, to guess where your hand needs to go to catch it, and then back and forth. Your brain's always doing math. Fun fact of the day, boom! Back to our game plan, we got focus number 2, and I brought in a little special guest, Mr. Ric Flair himself. Woo! Okay, so here we go. Focus number 2, we've got nutrition. Quick little review, what a calorie is. So calories is that unit of measurement of the food that we intake and how much energy we get out. So we're trying to measure that energy intake, okay? Woo! What happens if we have or eat too much or too many calories? And then also talk about what happens if we don't have enough calories in our body. So measurement of energy, calories, the food we intake, how much energy does that give us? What do we need? Woo! Next thing is macros. Macros are nutrient types, and there are three major or three macro nutrient types, and we call them proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Woo! And if you have a hard time remembering what your macros are, something I picked up in college when you read research articles. All the research, they want to, I don't know if they're lazy or they want to cut corners and stuff, but they'll abbreviate letters like MVPA, moderate vigorous physical activity. They say proto-fat. Proto-fat. That stands for proteins, carbohydrates, and fat. Boom! Woo!
Hey, what's up, you knuckleheads? Welcome back to Ben and Daddy's Kitchen, where I tell you things. So let me tell you something a little bit about calories, eh? Notice this lovely graphic right here. It says calories. Alright, so just so you guys know, calories is a measurement of energy. The energy you eat from foods. Now, you guys talked a little bit about that. I don't need to go in anymore. But I do want you guys to know something very, very, very important about calories. If you don't eat enough, your body cannot grow. If your body does not grow, then you don't live a good life, okay? I want you guys to live good lives. So, things like your hair, things like your eyesight, things like your brain growth, and your teeth, and all that, if you don't have enough calories, you don't grow. Those things, like your hair might fall out, I don't know, something weird like that. If you have too much, you eat too much of calories, something happens to you. Let me get my safety goggles on for this. We got a little experiment for you guys. I can't see with these things on. All right, inside your body, you've got cells that hold extra energy. We call these little adipose tissues. Everybody's got them, everybody needs them. This is how this works, your body works if you don't, or if you eat too much calories, eh? So, what happens? You eat calories, and you have these adipose tissues, these cells, they fill up. And once they get to the tippy top, they can't take no more. Your body does something like this. It goes, boom! Guess what? You now have two cells. I'm gonna pour a little bit of this in there. Now look, you went from one adipose tissue, now you got two. And both these tissues right here, both these fats are telling you this: I need to be full. And so your body's hungry for fats until these cells are full. Now, once both are full, guess what happens again? Your body goes, boom! Here's another cell. And then after a while, you're eating too many calories every single day. Your body goes from one cell to like 37, 38. And then all of a sudden, you got this giant bowl of cell. So instead of one cell, you have a floppy, flippy bowl of soda. You get me? All right. So now that we cleaned up all of that excess fat, adipose tissue from all them excess calories, and we got all that mess cleaned up, let's get back to business. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about some of those things that give you that energy, and we're gonna talk exclusively about macronutrients. Macronutrients, okay? Those are your proto-fats, your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. First on our list, we're gonna talk a little bit about fats. The fats can come from oils, they can come from animal products, they like the dairy and the cheese and all that. Very, very important. Fats have very, very, very important jobs in your body. The first one is the cell functions. Okay, believe it or not, if your body needs a little bit of fat in there for all the cells to function properly. Okay, Also, you've got a little bit of fat that surrounds your organs, adds a little bit of insulation, and it helps it with the temperatures and all that kind of good stuff, all right? Now, also I want you to know this. You do get energy from the fat, but here's the deal. You use fat in low intensity situations, okay? If you are walking, you're probably using fat for energy. Always remember, you only want to eat how much your body needs. Not too much, then you end up like a sloppy bowl of cola. That leads us to our next macronutrient. That is the carbohydrate, okay? Your carbohydrates come from fruits and the grains. And it's like all the starches and the fibers that are in those things. Those things can be broken down into sugars. That's where we get our carbohydrates from, is sugars. Your body breaks it down into glucose and then boom, you can move with high intensity. That leads me to another story about that one time I was working out in someone else's yard. One thing you gotta know is carbohydrates break down into sugars. If you don't use those sugars, guess what happens? Same thing with the cola and all that stuff, you end up like a sloppy bowl of cola. You get me? Carbohydrates, very, very great for MVPA, moderate to vigorous physical activity, as long as you're only eating enough at what you need. Okay, that leads us to our next one. Our third macronutrient. Boom! We've got protein, baby. Proteins are like the building blocks to your muscles, okay? It's very, very basic, but if you are physically active and you're eating your proteins, you've got one muscle you are training, could be any muscle, the bicep, let's think the bicep, okay? Everyone loves a bicep. You train it, and you're eating right, you got your protein, and all of a sudden, all that work that you've been doing, your muscle says, guess what, I'm gonna get a little bit bigger because I got enough protein and you're using me, okay. Now I've got a building block, my muscle's a little bit bigger, and then all of a sudden, you keep doing the same thing, you lift a little bit more weight, and then boom, you're building blocks because you're lifting weights and you're eating your protein. Then when you flex, you look like Coach Saunders. What is that? Bread and ketchup. Why don't you just go eat a peanut butter honey sandwich like I told you last week? Here's our macro meal of the day. We're gonna have you get some mineral rice, brown rice, please. Then you're gonna have whatever kind of pepper, your choice. This is jalapeno. Whatever kind of cheese you like, we're only gonna use a little bit. You need some measuring tools. Always bring your tools with you and your toolbox. And then you need some kind of pan to boil it all in. And then, hey, Coach Sando.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you hand me down a can of beans?
Yes, I can. Oh, hand me down that can of beans, hand me down that can of beans, hand me down that can of beans. Woo! Thanks. So, you also got a can of beans. Now, there's one other thing you're gonna need before we start this stuff to prep it all. And boy, do I got the perfect tool for you. The Ben & Daddy can opener. Okay, now you'll notice I cook just like Bob Ross paints. So, what you do is you take a little bowl, you grab some of the rice, you put some of the rice in. Excellent. Then you take the beans. So you got your carbohydrates. Now you got some of your proteins. Awesome, great, good stuff. Then just, not yet. For a little bit of the fat. You can take a serving of that, pour it in there. Well, that's great. Now for a little bit of taste. Ben & Daddy always likes a little spicy. Whack that in there. Now what you got? You got yourself a Procho fat meal that's good for like, I don't know, anything. Especially when you work on race cars for 18 years. This is actually really good. I could eat this all day. A little hot. It's time for Whiteboards and Whistles Teacher Challenge. Today, we've got Mr. Roll coming for you. I hope you're drinking your water and you're eating your Proto fat meal. All right, studs. Here's what we got. Our whiteboards and whistles teacher challenge setup. This is how this game is gonna go. Mr. Roll and I are gonna take 5 shots where these X's are. We're gonna take 5 shots down to the target. 5 shots using this foam ball and a golf club of our choice. We're gonna take 5 shots into a target. This target is made from cooking tins that I bought at a store for like $1.30 a piece. I cut a hole in the middle, give us a big target, and then you can tape them together, and then for $2, $3, something like that, you guys can make a target for yourself. So we take 5 shots at the target. Then we're gonna sprint down. We're gonna pick one card, one fitness card from underneath the target. And we've gotta do whatever that exercise is. Now, Mr. Roll doesn't know this, but one of them is gonna be a math problem. Now we're getting real educational here. Okay? Once we do our exercise, we're gonna round up all the golf balls that we've shot. We're gonna sprint them back to our starting spot and do a 20-foot sprint down and back. Get our heart rate way up. And then it's our job to get back to our starting spots and take 5 more golf shots and repeat that whole process one more time. We're gonna go 2 halves, and in each half, we're gonna go 2 rounds. Okay? So our whole idea here is that we are gonna get our heart rate way up. We're gonna practice some skill, some athletic skill of some kind. And in this game, it is a golf shot, shooting a ball at a target or striking a ball at a target. At the same time, we're trying to get our brains working if we end up getting that math problem or that math question to answer. Boom.
Woo! Whiteboards and whistles! Teacher challenge, baby! 2 claps to the Ric Flair! Woo! Today, we've got the great Mr. Roll! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Okay, here's what we got for you today. Here's what we got. I'm so pumped, baby! We've got a little biathlon, golf, and physical activity challenge. I don't know the name of it. You come up with the name of it, and then tell me. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take 5 swings with a golf club, try to hit the ball into these little targets. 5 shots. We get points. We get 1 point if we hit the target. We get 2 points if it goes in. Okay? As soon as we're going 5, we're gonna run down, grab a card at random, and do whatever it says. It might be air squats. It could be push-ups. There's also a math question in one of them because Mr. Roll is an excellent math teacher. Woo! I'm so jacked! Once we're done with that, we're gonna sprint down. We've got the ball sprint down from here. We've got a 20-foot sprint down and back, and then we are going to do 1 more round. This is a 2-round challenge. 2-round challenge, and then it's which teacher is the best? Ha! Are you ready, Mr. Roll? Let's do this. All right. The name of the game when we start is 2 claps to the Flair, and there we go. And there we go. All right. Let's go. Take 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! Game on, baby. Oh, the point! Yes! Look the card! Push-ups! 10 push-ups! Wrinkles Teacher Challenge! Round 2! 2 claps to Ric Flair! Woo! Question! Is it 2? What? Champion of the Teacher Challenge goes to me! Woo! Hit us with water! Remember, drinking water? Hey, stay thirsty! Or is it healthy? I don't know.
All right, studs, that's it for part number 1. Stay tuned for part number 2, where we talk about MVPA, principles of fit, and making it fun. You should also like and subscribe right now so you know when part number 2 has dropped.